Good morning. So first things first, a trigger warning, Kevin Spacey. So we're going to be talking about the movie American Beauty as well as the fear of the mundane in American suburban life. So American Beauty is a 1999 movie about Lester, a middle-aged man who has become disillusioned with his life and experiences a new awakening inside of himself that affects himself and his whole family. So to come right out and say it, I didn't really care for this movie, and I was actually surprised by that as someone who considers themselves a connoisseur of aesthetic movie edits, and this movie's always in those. I thought it was going to be something revolutionary, despite the absolute horror creature that Kevin Spacey is. I think a part of the reason why I didn't really enjoy this movie is mainly because I think I missed the boat. I think this movie was a period piece of the 90s and a time capsule of a movie trend that existed during this time where the scariest thing in the whole world was the American suburban life. I didn't watch this movie until now, so I didn't really get to experience the same mystique that maybe other people did during that time. And being from a rural area, I have never known the fear of living in classic American suburbia. So visually speaking, I do have a couple of notes about this movie, mainly two. One about color and tone, and the second one about eyebrows. So I did enjoy this movie in the sense that they do a good job of capturing a sort of artificial warmth from suburban home life. You see all of these decorations and styles in houses, but they never really feel real or authentic. They feel stiff, they don't feel lived in, and the movie makes you feel that. It's like you enter into a house that is so pristine that it's like nobody lives there. And the movie does this really great job of showing you what should be a comfortable home, but it's cold. The lighting is very white and stiff and stark, and the only time you actually get this feeling of life is when you get these pops of red with the roses that you see in various scenes. They give you this sort of hopeful fantasy feeling that you're not trapped in your like ordinary existence. So the second remark I want to make is that this movie has some really great eyebrows, both from Wes Bentley, who I love, and Peter Gallagher. It was like they just kept coming. I watched this movie with a friend and we swore Peter Gallagher's eyebrows were getting bigger and bigger with each scene. So to really kind of get into my the thoughts of this movie, I think this movie is about fear, both irrational and rational. This movie kind of shows everyone sort of running away from something, and they take more and more extreme measures to sort of feel alive. The character of Angela, I think, says this the best when she says that her biggest fear is in being ordinary. And I think that's a little fear that actually sticks in the back of a lot of people's minds. People are sort of scared to fade into the background and lose control of their life. And with Lester, that's what's happened to him. He's in his 40s and his life has become dull. He refers to himself as a loser and has taken the backseat in his own life. But the way he discovers this new lease on life is absolutely disgusting. He is an absolute creep. He lusts after a 17-year-old, and through his fantasies about her, he sort of starts to become this different person. I also think this movie just didn't age well, and it's not just because of Kevin Spacey. This was a movie that I think is really based around fears that people who are well off have. And nowadays, most people aren't well off, and so we can't really relate to it. One interesting part of this movie that really stuck with me is when the mom is talking about how she grew up in a duplex to sort of insinuate how destitute she was. And while I can see that, and I'm not trying to be insensitive and I'm not trying to play like broke Olympics, personally, I grew up and lived in a trailer most of my life, so it was kind of a disconnect for me. Nowadays, it's like she's over here complaining that she had to grow up in a duplex. Most people are just trying to buy food. They're trying to buy bread, you know? It just seems like problems that existed for people in a better economy. And I guess during the 90s, it was a better economy. I think if I had watched this movie when it came out, but unfortunately I didn't because I was 3 and my brain didn't hit that consciousness button yet, maybe I could have really experienced what other people did and really felt the fear of, oh my God, this could be me. If I don't do something, I don't want to wake up and have this meaningless existence and be 40 and be so unhappy. But I just didn't really experience that. But to be fair, I'm not 40 yet, so who knows? Maybe I have time to get scared. I'll let you know in a few years. So overall, I do want to give this movie a 3 out of 10, mainly because I think I just didn't connect with it. Maybe I wasn't the target audience. I personally feel comfortable with myself and who I am, so I don't really have that fear of the mundane because I provide myself the excitement and the lust for the life. I don't take a back seat in my own life. And you know what? maybe Lester should have figured that out without lusting after a 17-year-old to come to the same conclusion. Also, my main final thought on this movie is fuck Kevin Spacey.